There is a quiet moment that arrives before sleep, a moment when the world softens and the sharp edges of the day begin to blur, when thoughts loosen their grip and the night gently invites you to let go. This story begins in that fragile space, because sometimes the path to peaceful sleep is not something you search for, but something that slowly reveals itself when effort fades and surrender begins. Evan had always struggled with rest, not because he could not fall asleep, but because sleep never seemed to fully reach him. His body would lie still while his mind wandered, endlessly moving through memories, worries, unfinished thoughts, replaying conversations, anticipating tomorrows, and quietly carrying the weight of everything that had not yet been resolved during the day. He had carried himself well, responsibilities were handled, conversations remained polite, life moved forward as expected, and to anyone watching he seemed steady, capable, and present. Yet each night, as darkness settled, a quiet heaviness followed him, as though peace waited just beyond his reach, just out of view, something close enough to feel but far enough to miss. One evening, after a particularly long day, Evan felt drawn outside, without planning, without reasoning, without even knowing why. The moon hung low and bright in the sky, casting a silver glow across the ground, the air cool, calm, almost expectant, as if the night itself were waiting. And without thinking, without deciding, he began to walk. The path appeared naturally beneath his feet, narrow, gently winding, illuminated softly by moonlight. Not leading anywhere urgent, not asking for effort, not demanding direction. Each step felt lighter than the last. The world around him quiet, humming softly, leaves whispering in the breeze, distant sounds fading, as though the night were slowly turning the volume down. As Evan followed the moonlit path, his breathing began to slow, in and out, without instruction, without reminder, without control. The path curved gently through open fields, tall grasses glowing faintly in the moonlight, moving together as though breathing with him. And somewhere along the way, Evan realized he was no longer thinking, not because he was forcing silence, not because he was trying to empty his mind, but because silence had arrived on its own. Memories surfaced gently, not demanding attention, not pulling him backwards, simply passing rememberings like clouds drifting across the night sky. He remembered nights as a child, falling asleep without effort, trusting the night to hold him, trusting that sleep would come because it always did, the world feeling safe and kind. Somewhere along the way, that trust had thinned, replaced by effort, replaced by vigilance, replaced by the belief that rest must be earned, and that peace came only after everything else was finished. Yet here, on the moonlit path, that trust returned quietly, without announcement. The air felt warmer now, the path softer beneath his feet, as though the land itself was guiding him, not forward toward a destination, but inward toward something he had forgotten. Lanterns appeared along the path, few and far between. Their glow gentle and welcoming, never bright, never intrusive, never asking for attention. Evan passed them slowly, and each lantern seemed to carry a feeling: safety, ease, belonging, a quiet reassurance that he was exactly where he needed to be. He did not question where they came from or where they led. He did not try to understand their purpose. He simply continued, allowing the night to unfold around him without resistance, without urgency, without expectation. The path eventually opened into a quiet clearing, a small wooden bench resting beneath a tree, its branches reaching upward, leaves shimmering softly in the moonlight as if moving with the rhythm of the night. Bevan sat down, allowing his body to rest fully, feeling the steady support beneath him, feeling the weight of his body settle into stillness. Above him the moon shone clearly, calm, constant, unchanging, not rushing, not fading, simply present. He matched his breath to its presence, slow, even effortless, and with every exhale tension released from his shoulders, from his chest, from his thoughts, from places he had not realized were holding so tightly. The night wrapped around him, not empty, but full of quiet, assurance, full of permission to stop striving. Evan understood then that peaceful sleep was not something to chase, not something to force, not something to control. It was something to allow, something that arrived when he stopped standing in its way. The moonlit path had not been leading him away from his life. It had been leading him home, back to a rhythm older than thought, older than worry, back to rest without resistance, back to the natural intelligence of the body. As he sat there, sleep began to approach naturally, not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a tide returning to shore. His eyelids grew heavy, his breathing deep and steady, the world around him fading into softness. And when Evan finally lay down beneath the tree, the earth felt warm, supportive, familiar, as though it had always been waiting for him. The moon remained above, watching quietly, as it always had. Sleep took him easily, deep and untroubled, the kind that restores without effort, without interruption, without demand. And when morning would eventually come, the moonlit path would remain, not somewhere outside, not a place he needed to visit again, but something living quietly within him, because once you walk the path to peaceful sleep, you never truly forget the way. And now, as you rest here listening, perhaps you too can feel that path beneath you, soft, steady, safe. Perhaps your breathing has slowed, perhaps your shoulders have softened, perhaps the night feels a little kinder than it did before. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to think through. Just breathe and allow the night to guide you. Let the moonlight wash gently over your thoughts. Let the quiet carry you where effort no longer belongs. Sleep gently. The moon is watching, and the path will carry you peacefully into rest.